I love doing last minute mods on my arcade stick because I wanted to make sure something works before I spout a bunch of nonsense in a video. I don't want to sound like I'm full of shit if I don't, if I say that Korean levers or the short shaft Korean levers fit in this damn stick and then it ends up it doesn't for somebody else. Or later on down the line I try it and it doesn't work. Then I made an ass out of both you and me. You know, Crown, I love you, but we really need a we really need a K lever quick disconnect, like the Link or something. Need something like that that's gonna work. Then I got to, oh boy, yeah, I don't get that. I don't get why these sticks don't like customizability. That's a bit disappointing. Put all this under the table so nobody can. Oh, I dropped it. Great. Magnetic. They save your ass all the time. Now we got a video to do. So a couple of videos ago, I hinted at a package that had come from France, and it didn't take very many of you very long to figure out what it was, and that is the Nacon Daija arcade stick. I'm gonna call it the Nacon, or I'm gonna call it Nacon because I don't know how to really pronounce the company's name. If you know how to actually pronounce it, please feel free to correct me in the comments. But anyway, the Nacon Daija arcade stick was developed in collaboration with Kayane, and if you don't know who Kayane is, she's a Soul Calibur player, and one thing that I did not expect was for her to be really damn good at making an arcade stick. But before we do that, we're gonna go ahead and plug the merch because we're not legit enough to have a real sponsor on this channel yet. So if you go down the description and click the link to the Streamlabs merch store, you can see a bunch of shirts and hoodies that we have up for sale. We have the Electric Squad hoodie and t-shirts, as well as the Do an Electric t-shirt and limited edition hoodie. Last video on the Omni, somebody had commented that they had purchased a Do an Electric t-shirt, and I am very grateful for that. Thank you so much. I hope that the t-shirt is awesome and I hope you enjoy it. And yeah, that's about as much as I want to say about the merch. It's down in the description. Click on it and it helps support the channel if you buy something. The Daija is possibly one of the best arcade sticks I've ever played on. I've played on quite a lot. I have quite a lot. And this is easily number one or number two. I'd say it's probably number two. But I'm gonna get into all of this. We're gonna go and delve deep into all of this arcade stick here. So the Daija comes with what is arcade standard at this point: a Sanwa JLF lever and Sanwa's OBSF 30mm buttons. They're exactly what I've said in other videos. They're great parts. They're the arcade standard at this point. The next thing that I really like, and is a smart move on Nacon's part, was including a quick open top. So it's basically taking a lot of what the Razer Panthera does, as well as the Mad Catz Tournament Edition 2 stick. It's easy to get to the internals and swap out the buttons and stick just in case you are one of those people that want to experiment around with different parts. However, it is in the Vuelix layout, the buttons, so you might have some compatibility issues with Sanwa and Seimitsu screw-in buttons. It really depends. It's all up to the Vuelix layout here. One of the negatives, the first negative that I have, is pertaining to modding this stick. While the buttons are pretty easy to mod, the artwork's also pretty easy to mod. I'll talk about that in a second. The lever, however, is not very easy to mod. In fact, I don't think unless you have another Sanwa you're going to swap it out for, or you have a Seimitsu that has a flat plate, I don't think you're going to be able to swap this out with anything. I tried earlier in the video, as you saw for the little intro that I did, I tried to put a Crown 309 Help Me Sanwa compatible or Japanese compatible lever in here, and it wasn't lining up with the hole. Something about it, the base plate kept hitting up against something, and it's just stopping it from being able to be mounted properly. It's strange though that it doesn't affect the Sanwa, but that's kind of one thing that I don't like about the stick. I hear that this is also a problem on the Panthera Evo, as well as I believe on the Victrix Fight Stick Pro, the FS Pro or whatever it's called, is that there's just really no room for customizability or modability when it comes to the lever. The buttons are easy enough. Quick disconnects, pop the button out, new ones. The lever, it's a shame that they really want to restrict people's ability to mod that side of the arcade stick. But if you're somebody who's just in it to play on Sanwas and don't really care about modding anything other than maybe buttons, then this really isn't going to be too much of an issue for you. But what I really like about this one is that, and it does this better than the other two fight sticks that do this, or three in my opinion. It has two buttons on the side here that you push, and it pops open the top. And as you can see, everything is mounted to the top. The lever, the buttons, and the PCB and all the wires feed down really neatly into the bottom part of the arcade stick. The Dragon is probably the only other arcade stick that I say that does this really well. And the reason why this does it so well is that with the TE2 and the Panthera to some extent, I've had issues where I try to push down on the stick to have it click back in, and it just doesn't want to go. This one, you'll see in the B-roll, it kind of seems like I was shoving down really hard on it to try and get it to close. It was just the awkward angle or something like that, because I can get it to close pretty easily now. So it's not tough to close like the other arcade sticks are. So definitely the hinge and everything that makes this top part of the stick is really well developed. I do really like the build quality on this. And that goes into the case design as well. The case is designed very well. It's very rigid, very sturdy, and very heavy. This thing is built like a tank. So, you know, if you're at a major or if you're at a local and you get really mad, that heated gamer moment, and you throw your stick on the ground, rest assured you aren't going to damage this thing. Like with the Omni, you're probably going to damage the floor before you damage this thing. This thing weighs probably about, I want to say 8 pounds, maybe even 10. I got the weight right on the Omni. That thing was like 7.5 pounds. I said between 6 and 8 pounds. So yeah, this thing feels about as heavy, maybe a little heavier than the Omni. And that thing is an all steel chassis. That case is made of metal, and this thing is heavier, or about as heavy. So let that be a testament to its build quality. So other than it being really well built, I do like the design of this. It is kind of big, it's kind of thick, it's a chunky boy, but I do like the matte plastic finish on most of the arcade stick. On the back, on the side, or on the back of the arcade stick, up here where the cable compartment is. The only accent being this really nice glossy Nacon, the company's name is in this nice glossy black. I don't feel this thing getting any fingerprints. I've played on this thing for a while. I don't see any fingerprints on the matte black part, so it's not a fingerprint magnet, which is really good. And then the sides, as well as the wrist rest, are also a really nice design. It's like this grating. It's like this circle grate. I don't know how to really explain it or describe it, but it's kind of like PC-like in a way. It kind of reminds me of some sort of like fan intake grill on a computer. It's pretty nice, and it feels really nice in the hands. I didn't mention I didn't mention the modability of the artwork. So the one thing that's really cool about the Daija is that it comes with its own set of tools and a bat top. So when you open it up, you'll see there's a flathead tool to take off the ball top, and you can use that to help take off the artwork. You have to take the ball top off. or to replace it with the bat top. It also comes with its own hex screwdriver bit, driver, whatever you want to call it. And that's because these 6 screws up here are hex screws, and you would take these 6 off and you would be able to pull the plexi off, and artwork is literally just that. You take the plexi off, you take the artwork off, you slap the other one on. This is the other artwork that it comes with by default. This is the second piece of artwork that it comes with that I slapped on that came out of the box. Almost every other stick you have to take the buttons out so you can pull the plexi off, or you have to finagle with it just to get the artwork changed on these things. And this one is the easiest, it's probably the best, and it's one of the cleanest looking I've ever seen. I mean, the artwork that it comes with is super clean looking, and this stick is just super clean. Which actually I should mention, because I forgot to mention this in the last video with the Omni, the unboxing experience, because this was an unboxing and review video that I did for that one and this one. It's what I do here. And the unboxing is probably the best that I've had on this channel. It came double box, so when I opened up the first box, I was a little bit worried because there was some damage. I've never seen corner damage on the box that holds the stick, but luckily enough, it was packaged really well, so there was no damage to the actual stick. It comes with the rigid, really nice packaging foam that is on both sides of the stick. Almost every arcade stick that's worth a damn comes with this. And yeah, it saved it from any damage. It came with this bag wrapped over it, so you know they didn't have to go the extra mile, but they did put a quality bag in there, and it was really well protected. It also came with, like I said, this extra artwork, came with some stickers, with the instruction manual and all that, and then it came with like the best thing, which is a surprise. I've never had this happen when opening an arcade stick box before. But it smelled like the inside of a brand new car, like when you're at a car dealership. That surprised me quite a bit, and honestly, I like that smell. It's better than the Chinese glue crap that I've had to endure with some of these cheap arcade sticks that I've bought for the purpose of doing funny reviews. And I'd much rather have the smell of a new car than Chinese glue, to be honest. All your stuff, your control panel's on the right side, and the buttons on there also feel really premium. Instead of just being some glossy plastic buttons, that just are there and you have to kind of guess which one it is, they all have kind of a different shape to them, so you kind of can feel out which one is which. And the touchpad is also really nice feeling. It feels like a PS4 touchpad. And I should also mention that this is a official PlayStation 4 licensed controller. So one of the really nice things about it is that not only does it feature like a real touchpad, like I said, it also has this really, really cool LED on the front, which they didn't really have to do, but they did it anyway. And not only does it just glow when the stick is plugged in, when it's on a PS4, if you're player 1, just like with the DualShock 4, it'll glow blue for player 1, and if you're player 2, it glows red for player 2. They didn't have to go that extra mile, but they did. And that's probably the other really good thing about this stick. I've tried this out on Tekken 7 and DOA on the PlayStation 4, and I'll cut to that footage in a second, or in a little bit. But I didn't notice any input delay. That was the other thing. I didn't notice any additional input delay that isn't caused by Tekken 7 or Dead or Alive 6. You know what? I should also mention the other two really good things about this stick. The first thing is, I'm going to go and cut to this, but if I can get this in, we can see it perfectly. This has one of the best cable compartments I've ever seen in an arcade stick. Like, look at this. You just push on it and it opens up, and it's a very spacious cable compartment, and then you push it to close it. The other thing that I really like is that the cable that they use for the Daija is very premium feeling. It's very thick, and I really doubt that that thing is going to break anytime soon, especially since you can properly keep it stowed away. from having to wrap it around the arcade stick, and it has its own way of stopping itself from getting tugged on or broken, basically. The other thing that I do like a lot about the Daija is that it has one of my favorite features. It has the non-slip padding that goes on the bottom of the arcade stick, and like I said, this is a standard at this point. Just like Sanwa parts, this should be a standard. If you're paying $200 plus, you should be getting anti-slip material on the bottom of your arcade stick. This thing on a table isn't going to go anywhere. This thing on a lap isn't going to go anywhere. It'll probably take your pants off before it actually falls to the ground. And you know what? Yeah, the only other negative I can honestly think about is the fact that it isn't really readily available in the US or in the United States. It's available almost everywhere else, as far as I can see. But in the US, there really is no way to get this without some black market arcade stick dealer getting into the mix. So that's, I guess, a negative on the Daija's part, but who knows, maybe they'll be able to get to it in the future. But the only other thing I can think of is maybe recess these buttons that pop the top of the stick open, because I can see this being a problem where you could easily bump into it and cause the stick to open up. Maybe if they recessed it and made it actual buttons that were kind of matte like the rest of the buttons on the control panel side, that might be a good fix. You can make them small and just sink them into the sides of the arcade stick. But either way, I'm gonna cut to some gameplay of this before I give some final thoughts and all that other good stuff. So let's go right to it. Alright, so you just saw some Tekken 7 and DOA stuff being performed on this stick, and yeah, it is just, without a shadow of a doubt, this thing is a highly recommended from me. I didn't get this from Nacon. They didn't send it to me. It's not one of those things where it's a reviewer bias or anything. Even on the arcade sticks that are sent to me, I usually do have some issues with. But this one, it is very hard to find anything wrong with the Daija. Like, I had to search for some minor nitpicks. You know, maybe the only major thing being the swappability of the lever. But as far as it goes, honestly, other than maybe it might be a little too bulky for some people, I mean, this thing is one chunky boy. It is a very thick arcade stick. Oh yeah, it also has a headphone jack if you're into that kind of thing. If you want to talk mad smack to the people that you're bodying online. And it's honestly very hard to find anything negative. Maybe some, like I said, some minor things, maybe some minor design changes, but it's mostly positive. It's hard for me not to say, buy this stick. It's a hard buy for me. If this was available in the US and I had the ability to buy it for the $200 I think it is that they want for it, I would easily do it. I mean, I think the only way to get this is on Amazon in the US, and they only have like 16 in stock or something like that last time I checked. If you live anywhere in Europe or anywhere where this stick is easily available, yeah, go buy it. There's no question about it. Go buy it. If you can find it, go buy it. Hopefully they do bring it to the US at some point so that it is much more readily available through like, even if it's through like Arcade Shock or Focus Attack or even Paradise Arcade Shop, if it's available in some form in the United States and Canada, then that would be, I am convinced this would be a very popular stick. Speaking of recommending things, this isn't another plug, I swear. I am doing, like I said this a while ago, this was months ago, but I said I was going to do a giveaway. And of course, me being late in that sort of fashionably late, I am going to host the, I don't really have a name for it, I'm just going to call it the up and coming content creator giveaway. And what I mean by that is that I have a few things that have just been sitting around unused equipment wise because I've upgraded. This is stuff that I got when I started out or when I was building up my channel to where it is now. And I feel like I'm doing a disservice just having these laying around and not giving them to somebody else to create content. And of course, I'm going to pull those out right now, so let me cut really quick. And you're going to see what I have in store. Alright, so we've cut right to it. We're here, and this is what basically I'm going to be giving away. Crap, I forgot to grab the shock mounts for whatever. The shock mounts for this thing will be included. But basically, the Blue Yeti microphone, this was the microphone that I used for about a period of 5 years. From I want to say late 2012, early 2013, all the way till the middle of 2017. So it's almost 5 years. It's almost been 5 years since I've had this thing and used it. It's been on quite a few videos, a few older videos, and it's a good microphone. I'll include the USB cord for it as well. Don't worry about that. It's gonna come with this table mount, so that you can put it on the table or a desk if you want. It's also gonna come with this table arm. So basically it just attaches to this and you can put it in front of your face or off to the side or whatever. This one I used for a little while as well until I upgraded. And then the last thing, the shock mounts will also be for this. There's going to be two. There's one that's the official Blue Yeti shock mount, and then the other one, which is an aftermarket one that I was using. Both of them will be included for you just because I have no use for them since they're for the Blue Yeti. And yeah, and then this one as well, because you'll be able to put the shock mount on here and you'll be able to have it in your face so you can be official like a bunch of other content creators are. Yeah. The last thing is going to be the Elgato HD60. Let me get that kind of in shot, but a little focused, but whatever. The HD60 I used for a little while when I wanted to upgrade to 1080p 60 capture. And then I went and I got the S a couple years ago, the HD60S. Really, the only differences between the two is that the HD60S has true pass-through, so there's really no latency, whereas this one has some noticeable latency. So from recording, to the recording software from your console is going to be delayed, whereas with the 60S there is none or hardly any. But it still does virtually all the same things that the HD60S does, and this one has been sitting around not being used, so I decided, hey, why not give this to somebody who might be wanting to create content. Maybe you might want to create fighting game videos or let's plays or something, and you really don't have the money for it, or you just don't know what you need to get started. Well, this is kind of it. This is kind of the things you'll need besides a computer and a console to stream on, or a console to record your gameplay off of. So the way I'm gonna run this is that this is gonna be a Gleam.io giveaway. If you follow me on Twitch, subscribe on Twitch, follow on Twitter, do all that stuff, there's gonna be a whole list of things that give you more chances to win one of these guys and this whole package. Yeah, just follow the link that's going to be down in the description. It'll show you what you need to do to enter the giveaway, and I think I'll end the giveaway like 2 weeks or 3 weeks from when the video goes up. And yeah, and I'll try and ship it wherever possible. Hopefully it doesn't go out of country, because that is going to be quite expensive, but if it does, then no worries there. Just yeah, enter it and all this stuff can be yours, not the Daija. This one's mine. I like this. I'm keeping this. You can't have this, but you can have this. And yeah, so go ahead and click on the link down below to get entered into the giveaway. Anyway, I've been Dan. You know, hit the like if you liked it, dislike it if you didn't. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon so you get notified whenever I go live with new videos and more reviews and stuff. I do have a couple of cool ideas for videos that aren't necessarily going to be reviews, but are just kind of like fun little arcade stick build things, and some other types of videos in the future. And yeah, share this video around. You know, hopefully if maybe not you, maybe your friend might want to get into content creation, and they can win this whole package here. So take care everybody, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.